So usually I start a video by just reading the headline and knowing roughly where the video is going to go, because if something says, Crypto Bro is scammed, I know Crypto Bro got scammed. I'm unschooling my kids, why we won't teach them to read and write. I don't know where this one's going, because my mind immediately thinks this is going somewhere nobody should be going, because teaching people basic literacy is, I mean, it's how society continues to function. But I don't know, we'll go in with an open mind. What is unschooling my kids? And why are you not teaching them to read and write? And where are you from that you're doing this? In my post article, we'll leave it linked in the video description. Adele and Matt Allen are raising their 3 children with child autonomy, allowing their kids to set their own curriculum, bedtimes, menus, meal times, and chore lists. I don't know how this could go wrong. I don't know how allowing children, which typically aren't allowed to make big decisions because, well, they're children, setting all their own schedules and what they want to do is not going to result in them becoming NEETs. You know, not in employment, education, or training. I believe that's what NEET stands for, right? Because if somebody told me when I was a kid, you can eat what you want, do what you want, whenever you want, I'm just playing video games all fucking day. And if that's what the parents are fine with, and if they've got enough money to sustain that, cool, I guess. Probably not going to turn out to be the most productive members of society, but who knows? Maybe this is the future. Let's see. The Allens, who live in Brighton, UK. Fuck. Why couldn't this be another fucking American story I could laugh at Americans about? God damn it, man. They're from Brighton. That's a different world to the UK anyway. Let me cope. Brighton, we denounce Brighton anyways. Fully embrace the unconventional parenting style that aligns with their frugal and natural living habits. I feel like the term natural living just makes me think of hippies. I don't know why. I hear natural living and I just think of hippies. Or people that stink and don't use deodorant. Then again, that's Magic the Gathering players. Or just nerds in general. Furries. Anyone who goes to conventions for nerdy stuff. Gamers. We got into natural living before we had our kids, so it just became a natural progression that continued and began to affect all of our decisions after I fell pregnant, Adele told Caters. The parents, who are both 39, don't trust the healthcare or education systems and have allowed their children, Ulysses, 12, Astara, 8, and Kai, 4, to make their own choices from a very young age. We didn't do vaccinations for our kids. Oh, fuck. Okay. Which people say is cruel of us. And we don't use the healthcare system. Instead, we use natural and herbal remedies, the mother of 3 revealed. Okay. So you've just been very lucky that they've just not got anything serious then? Because if they did, they'd just die. Like, they'd just die. One of the things that we've advanced as a species pretty well is healthcare. If you get anything serious and you're relying on natural and herbal remedies, you're basically killing your children and yourselves, which it's your right to kill yourself, but once you bring another life into the world, it's not your right to kill them. Like, I don't know, man. This just really frustrates me, because obviously if you see someone suffering with something, you want to help them. If your decision is, oh, I'll help you, but not with actual healthcare and doctors and vaccinations, which I know a lot of people have had their brains fucking rotted by the COVID and the new vaccinations and the fucking social political landscape of the internet, thinking, oh, if you get a vaccination, you're a soy boy, leftist, blah, 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 and the vaccination doesn't work and you were lied to, and all this just NPC nonsense talking points. But even if you take that out of the equation, if you think all vaccinations, like I obviously think COVID vaccination is good and it works, and you can look up statistics of this and it does, but you absolutely cannot ever, like, I don't care what mind virus you've got, you can't say the other vaccines that virtually eliminated diseases that were killing lots of people, like smallpox and fucking tuberculosis and meningitis. You can't say that these things are not good, that you should be giving your kids. You are fucking goofing really badly. What happens if they get, like, tetanus or something? You're just not going to vaccinate them and then just watch them die in an agonizing manner? Man, people say this is cruel of you. It is, and incredibly fucking stupid. So this article had a bunch of pictures of the kids and the family. I went into Inspect Element and deleted the pictures because I don't think they're relevant to the... You don't need to be showing the kids to talk about the stupid fucking parents. So that's why there's big, like, gaping holes here where there's no image. All of her children were breastfed until they were at least 3 years old, which the parents believe has given the kids a good, healthy foundation to become healthier in the future. Yeah, it's like a fucking hyperbolic time chamber. The longer you're sucking tits as a kid, you just beat health. If you've got, childhood cancer or something, just breastfeed for longer. It gets rid of it straight away. This life hack will save millions of children. Won't, of course, that's sarcasm. Not going to save anybody. We also don't use the education system. Instead, we unschool our kids. Is this like the cryptocurrency rug pull? Unbank yourself. Which one was that? Unbank yourself. Was that Celsius? This means they have to show an interest in something for us to explore it with them, instead of following a curriculum and telling them what they are going to learn. She said that the couple believe in child autonomy and enabling kids to take governance of their life. Yeah, good decision makers, kids. Very logical thinkers, those children. Make their own choices and decide what goes on in their life rather than dictating to them, but defended her lifestyle, explaining that this doesn't mean no guidance, it's just about involving them in the decisions. So, personally for me, my partner has always said, like, oh, I'd enroll our kids in a ton of programs and, like, essentially, push them into doing stuff and try to make them stick to it and then see what they like. I've always been a bit more of the idea of being hands-off and essentially letting them try a bunch of stuff if they want to try it, and then, support them if they find something they really want to do, even if it's unconventional. But obviously you need to build a solid foundation for somebody to be living in the real world, unless you are wealthy enough for them to not have to live in the real world. So if you're a multimillionaire and they can just live on the farm forever and do whatever and it doesn't matter, this is all fine and well. But if you want to prepare somebody for academic life or, going into the real world with jobs and careers and things like that, I don't believe just letting them do whatever they want whenever they want is a good idea. I sincerely don't believe in forcing kids to do stuff, and I do think kids should have autonomy in their teenage years when they are forming themselves, and you don't want to be basically forcing too much strict things into their life that they might resent you for later. But there's a balance to it, and this seems like there isn't really a balance. The Allens don't believe that parents should decide what their children do, and instead allow their children to find what makes them happy and follow their lead. I do think in an ideal world, everyone should just be able to do whatever the fuck they want and just be happy, because it does seem like life has pigeonholed us into basically working just so they can live and not getting to do the stuff that they really enjoy in their finite, time on this planet. By the time you get to, retire and have enough money, traditionally for most people, by the time you actually have enough free time to do what you want, you're just old and frail and fucked up and dying. It's sorry to be so blunt about it, but you go through your childhood and your formative years doing stuff that you pretty much have to do. Schoolwork, whatever, tertiary shit your parents make you do, being under somebody else's roof and having to do that. And then you leave, and then you've got to work. And then if you really want to better yourself and live a better life, you've got to work and then work at yourself and practice new skills and do stuff to try and better your position in this world. So you don't really get a lot of time to do stuff unless you really just go hard in the paint or get really lucky or do something that you do love for work, which is not that many people, I'd imagine. Like if you're somebody who gets to work really hard and then obviously work on a side hustle and build a business and eventually be able to retire in your 30s, and then you've got all the time in the world to just explore things that you enjoy, find new hobbies, find meaning in life, and just, really live life. That's amazing. But for the vast majority of people, you do all this stuff as a kid, quite structured, needs to be, because that's when you learn the most. That's where you're going to find a lot of things that, you'll take with you later in life that you'll love. Then you go into work, and then when you finish work, you're like, man, fuck, I just want to, do something, because then I've got to go to sleep because I've got to wake back up for work early in the morning, and I've got to commute, and I've got to clean my place, and I've got to do my taxes, and I've got to do all this other shit. I've got to spend time with my family. I've got to spend time with my new relationship. I've got to do all this stuff. Then you get a family. Then you split your time with your family and the stuff you want to do, and you get very little time, free time. And then you get old, And then the stuff that you want to do, most of it you can't because you're old and fucked up. So I do think obviously it kind of sucks that this is how life is lived, and obviously you make the best of whatever situation you're in. And obviously this doesn't mean you can't find happiness and meaning and a fulfilling experience on this planet with the time you're given. But I do think it kind of sucks that we are in the, we're in the hamster cage, we're on the hamster wheel, and we're running, and when the wheel stops turning, that's it. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of leeway to get off the wheel and do some other shit for 5 or 10 minutes, you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily completely disagree, but I do think that if you're setting them up for a less likely time to succeed massively in their, early adulthood, they're probably not going to, escape that analogy, again, unless they're rich. So Adele claimed that she's already seen the benefits of her family's practicing the interests that her children are finding. What interests are they finding? He's being given sewing lessons and expressing an interest in the craft. Cool. Yeah, sewing. Her daughter, Astora, expressed an interest in sewing, so she's honing that skill, while her eldest, Ulysses, is currently exploring her passion for animals and computers. Yeah, fucking video games, bro. I love Fortnite. Just going to play Fortnite 16 hours a day. And all I want brought to me is tendies with honey mustard dipping sauce. We just followed their lead. If they want to do a club and try a new group for a little bit, we just provide that for them, Adele said. The naturalist is confident her children will pick up everything they need to know, despite the fact that people panic about her parenting methods, because she doesn't force her children to learn to read and write. God damn it. Our son was 10 years old when he began taking an interest in wanting to read and write. He just picked up pen and paper and taught himself. He wasn't bothered about us teaching him, she shared. So can he read and write well? Is that something he can do? I don't know. I wonder if you tested these kids, because I'm interested to know, are they onto something? I'd want to see these kids tested as like, just general knowledge and general things you would expect a child of 10 to be able to do, like basic arithmetic, basic, history, basic reading and writing, comprehension skills, general socialization. Are they on par, or are they way behind kids their age, or are they way ahead? I don't know, because obviously homeschooling is, it's just a gamble, right? Depending on who the parents are. You can have one homeschooled kid who literally can't spell his fucking name or tie his shoes, and then you can have one that's like an absolute boy genius. Language is all around them, so they're bound to pick it up. With them not being in a classroom setting, there isn't the pressure there to do certain things by a certain age. I mean, there will be later. The family shares insights into their unique way of life on Instagram and YouTube. Do I look at this? I feel like I need to. I'm down the rabbit hole, but I don't want to show the kids. I mean, they're in the articles, they're all over the internet, but yeah. Where they have to defend themselves at times, but have cultivated a community of similar thinkers and interested viewers. The Allens are well aware of the criticism that many people have about their lazy or cruel parenting techniques and lifestyle, but they argue that their ways are actually quite the opposite. I mean, it is cruel, again, to not use healthcare and vaccination. The family doesn't like alarm clocks, so they rise naturally, cook whenever the kids are hungry, and actively encourage participation in the household chores, but don't demand... Do they sell drugs or something? How... I guess they've both just retired early at 39, and they just have enough money to just never work, or maybe they run their own businesses. I don't know. Are they content creators? Do they have like a lot of followers? No? 1K subs? How we got to a sustainable rent. The unconventional parent. Teeth brushing is optional in our house. Oh my god.
Much like doctors, we've never really taken the kids to a dentist at all. And we've kind of not really ever felt the need to. And yeah, I mean, I know there are holistic dentists available, which do cost quite a lot of money, but we've never really opted for that, because many reasons really. First main reason being is that we don't really feel that even with holistic dentistry, that the professional really fully gets to the root cause.
What? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god. This is so much worse than I thought it was. This is... You're out your fucking mind, brother. You're out of your mind. There's no way. There's no way. Why we don't use sunscreen? Because I just want my kids to get skin cancer. The truth about extended breastfeeding and natural immunity. I fucking despair, mate. It just... we don't take kids to the dentist because We don't believe the professionals get to the root issue. So who gets to the root issue then if you don't take them to professionals? Nobody, because there is nobody. Man, these kids are going to be fucked. These kids are going to be so fucked. We don't have any set limits on anything. However, we do have mutual agreements of respect, such as not being too loud when someone is sleeping, Adele shared. They described their lifestyle as full on, asserting that not following a strict schedule allows every day to look different and forces them to monitor their children's health and emotions all day long until the kids send themselves to bed. We aren't just sending them off to school for teachers to deal with, we have to respond and adapt accordingly to how they're engaging, Adele said. She also noted that allowing the children to set their own schedules doesn't leave a lot of adult alone time, but this is how the Allens prefer it until their children become adults themselves, if they're lucky, if they're fucking lucky. And we're lucky that they don't get a lot of adult alone time, because then they'd be fucking, and of course, since they're all natural, they wouldn't be using protection, so they'd be making more kids to fuck up and then dump on society later when they die from some disease that would have been curable, but they didn't go to the fucking doctor. Jesus Christ. We don't want the children to spend their life doing what other people are telling them to do. Adele said, we want them to find their passion and not waste time in their life so that they know who they are by the time they get around to having kids. They still won't know because that's called maturity, and that's something you find by getting older, not by just having your parents let you do whatever you want. I think it's a noble cause to want your kids to live a better life than you did, and I think that's what all parents want for their kids. They want the best for them. They want to take what they learned, they want to take away the things that, you know, were bad in their life and give their kids the best shot to be something that they wasn't, to be greater than. But this is not it for me, man. I know there's going to be some people who think that this is totally fine. I don't see any world in which this is something people should be doing with their children. I'm sure the kids love it. I'm sure the parents think they're doing a great thing. They ain't. Yeah, fuck me, man. What a crazy rabbit hole. I'm sure there's lots of people that are doing this. I did look at the comments briefly, and there's a lot of people saying, oh yeah, this is great. This is amazing. Kids can make great decisions. Yep, definitely. So there you go. What do you say? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace out.